provinces are pushing the federal government for faster delivery of doses. Here's where the numbers stand. More than 545,000 doses have been sent to the provinces and territories. Less than half of them have been administered, which means 0.6% of the population has been immunized. That puts Canada behind the US and the UK, and Israel still leads the world in vaccinations by a long shot. The federal government maintains they are still on track to vaccinate every Canadian who wants the shot by September. But is that a sure thing? Anita Anand is the Minister of Public Services and Procurement. We reached her in Oakville. And for transparency's sake, I'd also like to let our audience know that my husband is a civil servant in the Department of Public Services and Procurement Canada. He is not involved in the effort to procure vaccines. Mr. Anand, we heard a very positive tone from you and from the Prime Minister today, but you know that there are some hospitals and countries saying that they are running out of vaccine. Quebec's health minister has said that they would welcome the vaccine speed to roll out to be significantly increased. I wonder, what do you say to Canadians who are saying, why isn't there more supply now?
Well, it's a great question, and I just want to start off by saying and reiterating that this is the largest mass vaccination campaign in Canadian history, and we as a country throughout this pandemic have been able to circumvent some of the obstacles by working together. So collaboration continues to be the name of the game here. We've been very clear with the provinces and territories that we are expecting 6 million doses in Q1. We've established timelines for the delivery of those doses, and Major General Danny Fortin, the Public Health Agency of Canada, is communicating every day with the provinces and territories about the deliveries of these numbers as they come in on a week-to-week basis. And so it's important to remember that we're all ramping up. The supply is going to ramp up considerably from Q1 to Q2 and beyond. And we all have to work together to make sure that all Canadians are vaccinated by the end of September 2021.
I very much want to talk about that September 2021 deadline in a moment, but you mentioned the 6 million figure. Yourself, the Prime Minister, you've talked about the fact that those conversations are ongoing, that you yourself are speaking with the heads of some of these companies on a regular basis. Should we expect that 6 million number in the first 3 months of this year is going to increase?
I want to be straight up with you, Catherine, to say that every time I speak with a supplier, I am putting on the table the acceleration of our delivery timelines from Q2 to Q1, from Q3 to Q2, and so on. It is very important for us to remember the global context in which this vaccination campaign is taking place. Mm-hmm. That is, every country in the world is seeking product from the same handful of suppliers. Therefore, we have to remember that it was a very good thing that Canada got in there early with Moderna and Pfizer and the other suppliers, that we are at the front of the line with Pfizer and Moderna, that they did choose to give us their doses before the holiday break, and that we have begun vaccinations in every Canadian jurisdiction. Those are very important facts to remember as we continue to ramp up together to ensure that this vaccination campaign occurs successfully.
Obviously, there are a lot of factors at play, but one of them inevitably is money. This is a financial issue. You know that Israel has come forward and saying they're paying around $30 a dose right now for vaccine. Why can other countries say how much they're paying and Canada won't do that?
Well, indeed, the answer to your question is what I've already said. Indeed, we are still negotiating with our suppliers for accelerated deliveries. And I want to be clear that in August and July, when we were negotiating with our suppliers, we put everything on the table. We put price on the table. We put manufacturing on the table. We put everything we possibly could.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to understand what that means when you say we put price on the table. Like, are you saying you told them what the most we were willing to pay was, or you told them money was no object? Like, where are we on that issue?
For Canadians, we are prepared to put down money that would allow us to accelerate our deliveries. And so I continue to have that very conversation with
there's
suppliers.
There's too much per dose?
We need to make sure we have as much as possible in terms of vaccines in this country as soon as possible. That is the point that I'm making with suppliers.
I know, I understand what point you are trying to make, Minister Anand, but what I am trying to understand is, like, this is, you know well, these are some of the most valuable commodities on earth right now. So is price a deciding factor in how much Canada gets?
Price is not a deciding factor for us. And indeed, some vaccine companies have told us that price isn't an object for them. It's capacity, it's production, it's their ability to get vaccines off the line that is preventing them from accelerating their own timelines. And so you'll have to remember that there is a continual request from Canada, and we will continue to make that request so that we put Canadians in the best stead possible of any country in the world.
Okay. I want to, you mentioned September 2021 and the hope that every Canadian who wants a vaccine can get it by September 2021. But you said today as well that that's contingent on Canada's entire portfolio, if I understand correctly, being approved. How likely is that? I mean, when you made that initial pledge, we didn't know what the timelines are. We're much further into this now. Can you still confidently say September 2021 we're going to have all 7 vaccines approved?
What I can say confidently is that we will be able to inoculate any Canadian who wishes to be vaccinated by the end of September 2021 because of the way in which we are structuring our procurements. Firstly, we have the largest per capita number of doses of any country in the world as a result of our 7 contracts executed over the course of the last part of 2020. In addition, we've exercised 20 million more Moderna options, which puts us at having 40 million Moderna doses and 20 million Pfizer doses, which allows an inoculation of 30 million Canadians. Putting that all together, we are executing multiple prongs to ensure that we are able to inoculate any Canadian that wishes to be vaccinated by the end of 2021.
And that means any Canadian adult? I'm trying to understand how you define, or how you're coming up with your sense of what Canadians would want to be vaccinated.
The Public Health Agency of Canada and my department, PSPC, are working together in terms of providing these numbers to Canadians, and we are using the 37 million or so number of Canadians as our basis for making our decision.
Does it include kids? I think a lot of parents would want to know, does that include kids?
It's still an issue relating to what guidance Health Canada is going to be providing to us, but we are taking a maximum number of doses approach, and we will tailor it accordingly to the science that we receive.
I guess I'm still not clear on whether or not you're saying by September any Canadian who wants one could include kids. I am saying that. It could include kids. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Before I let you go, I just want to ask you about AstraZeneca, because you heard Premier Ford making that plea today, saying they are desperate. They want to see the Oxford vaccine become an option ASAP. We know Health Canada is still doing its work. I know that you are not going to circumvent Health Canada, but I want to know what your message is to Premier Ford about how soon he can prepare or start to prepare for receiving that vaccine.
Well, again, you said it yourself. I can't plan to have AstraZeneca delivered until we have AstraZeneca approved. And so that is the key moment that we are waiting for. My goal in discussions with suppliers is to say that once we have Health Canada approval, we want to be ready at that moment to deploy vaccines that have been approved. We did that with Pfizer, we did that with Moderna, and we will continue to make sure we can do that with the other vaccines that are approved. That's the role that procurement plays, and we will continue to effectively and efficiently disseminate that role.
Thank you for your time today, Minister.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.